Hello everyone, welcome again to the second season of Conversations on Business of Retail. In this episode we have a very successful retail leader who has made his mark in the industry, has been a pioneer and has built a very strong business over some 3 decades of his hard work, persistence, perseverance, tenacity, and we are going to talk all about that in this conversation. So I'm very proud and privileged to present to you Mr. Vikaas Gutgutia, founder and managing director of Ferns N Petals. Welcome, Vikaas.
Thank you.
So, as our conversations in business of retail is all about success, personal also, and especially the business success in retail. So, because a lot of our retail leaders are watching, and we want to give them the basic attributes and attitudes, what really made things work for you, so that they can take it, imbibe it, and use in their own environments.
I understand.
So we'll start with the first question. What does success mean to Mr. Vikaas?
Success is, I think it's addictive. I mean, it is a pleasure. It is a responsibility. It is being more careful. I mean, success has so many dimensions that just describing them in few words will be difficult, but it's a beautiful feeling for sure.
Yeah, so that's why pursuit for success is important, right? So what do you think personally has been your few key traits which you think had been responsible for your success?
I think first of all I must say that to me it was passion. It was something that either it's this or nothing. So I was very passionate about it, and when you're passionate about it, you think more, you work harder, you tend to believe in yourself more, and all these ingredients put together, I guess, helps you achieve your passion. And passion also has to be supported by persistence. I mean, we tend to lose hope, midway somewhere. But that's where you have to keep going. That's right. Where, and I've always believed that it's the difficulties where the opportunities are.
Wonderful. So success is not a sprint. It's a marathon where you have to consistently.
It's like a vertical climb. I mean, and you keep looking up and keep climbing, not knowing where the end is, and the desire to keep climbing, and the higher you climb, you are more visible. People tend to talk about you. So it's a very deadly mix of pleasure, satisfaction, and of course nothing comes easy. The higher you climb, the fear of falling increases. So now fear of falling has to be in the back of the mind without it being overpowering. One should not become blind to towards the success. That look, I've become some superhero, I have a magic wand, and whatever I will do will happen. It doesn't work that way. So the balance, and always looking at the other side, the possibilities of how it's going to be when it doesn't work the way you think, is also very, very important.
Wonderful, wonderful. So passion and perseverance and the zeal and enthusiasm to carry on. Share with us something about your initial starting of Ferns N Petals, and of course we have a story which is in public domain, that since you could not deliver the bouquet nicely to your
I belong to a florist family. I'm from Calcutta, and we had a flower shop in Kolkata. So while I was doing my college, I used to go and help my uncle for a few hours during the day, So I had some idea about what flowers are, how they are sold, and good flower, bad flower, good arrangement, bad arrangement. So I was basically, I had my flower education in my college time under my uncle's guidance. And I was a young graduate, and I had come to Delhi to meet my girlfriend, who is my wife now. And I thought, let me send her flowers. So I went to Defence Colony, which was the popular florist market. So I went to Defence Colony, and I came to know that Bunny Flowers is the best florist in town. So I went to her and ordered a flower bouquet. And when I went to meet her and saw the flowers, I was very disappointed. And I was more disappointed because I had a florist background. I knew what good and bad is. And that was the trigger. That look, first of all, we sell flowers in Kolkata, from a proper flower shop, which is air conditioned, which is like a showroom. And in Delhi, in Defence Colony, all those 4 or 5 florists were literally on the roadside. And the quality of flower delivered was very poor. So I said, Delhi is a much bigger city than Kolkata. It's the capital of the country, and it needs a good florist. Let me go around and see. I went around to Khan Market, to different places, to 5-star hotels, to check out the flower scenario. I did my research to see the flower culture and the flower, fraternity, how it works in Delhi. And every day, my research made my feeling more strong that yes, that's something which is required in this city, and I will do it. So that's where luckily I met a friend who was from Kolkata. He knew me. He was willing to invest in me because I didn't have any financial support or a background. And then we both sat together and kind of planned it. We chose this name, Ferns N Petals. It took us almost a week, 10 days, to select this name. And then finally in 1994, September, the FNP was born.
Wonderful. Beautiful. So, identifying the need gap and then going ahead and building a business around fulfilling that need. So, that is what the initial story of FNB looks like. The pre-interview conversation we were talking that to build a business and the brand, garnering trust is very important, if you recall. So share with us in terms of from the Ferns and Petals perspective, that what all did you do to build that trust with the consumer?
See, flower is a highly perishable commodity. And if I'm able to sell the flowers during the day, next day it is a waste. And florist in general had trust deficit. People used to feel that if I don't go and select flowers myself, they will send us old flowers which are about to die, so that they are able to curtail their wastage. And that was the general prevailing practice in general across all florists. So my first and foremost resolution was that I have to work the other way. If you come and select a flower, it's your wish. But if you let me select on your behalf, I'll select the best, which I'll send to my girlfriend.
Wow.
So that ultimately, started showing results. People started trusting. And, my grandfather used to say something which in my childhood, which kind of stuck me very badly. He said, Vikaas, जिंदगी में कुछ भी करो, सच कभी नहीं हारता. सच कभी नहीं हारता. The trust, that such and the truth has a huge significance in my life.
Wow.
And it has helped me in all kind of relationships, whether it's professional relationship, personal relationship, in general, talking to people. So I think trust is a very, very important word, and it's not only a word, it's a philosophy. It's a whole thought process. And sometimes it's very tough, because it might be very expensive. But I think, as I said earlier, good things don't come easy, so it's fine.
So in the retail scenario, any brand, any product needs this. It's not about only Ferns and Petals, but so all the retail leaders who are watching, building the trust for your brand, trust for your product is very, very critical. Let me just dwell upon briefly on detailing. I today read somewhere, while coming to I was reading somewhere, so that said that, you went ahead and started selecting seeds, you started meeting on the outskirts of Delhi NCR, the farmers who used to grow flowers and stuff like that. So, to make this promise of delivering the best flowers fulfill, you did a lot of those things. So, can you just share with us and our viewers what was those?
See, first of all, in 1990s, when we talk about flower industry, it wasn't even called an industry. It was some local flowers here and there, and some individuals, family-run businesses, selling flowers on roadside. Some probably supplying flowers to five-star hotels who probably do their regular arrangements, and there was not even a proper wholesale market. So people will go and tie up with different growers in different parts of the country to get flowers. And I'm lucky and unlucky both that the beginning of F&P and beginning of flower industry happened at the same time. Because Tata was the one who set up the first floriculture farm in Pune, which was a controlled climate growing practice, like in Holland and the other countries.
Right.
That was the first project. And I was a very curious child, wherever I'll get to know something new happening, I'll be the first person to reach there. So I kind of traveled the width and the length of the country to every possible flower cultivating farm or a flower growing guy, to gain knowledge, to understand, because I guess that was the only education I could get at that point of time. And every time I went and met somebody, came to know about certain flowers, their difficulties, and how I can solve it, and how I can help them do better. I guess that laid a very, very strong foundation. Because all the other florists probably were, see, most of the flower business was done by illiterate people. People were selling flowers outside mandir, people are selling flower on roadside. So they're basically...
So for them it was a product which was traded.
So
Simple.
traded, and that also with no great, expectation. They wanted to make this couple of hundred at the end of the day, which is good for their, livelihood. For me, it was a different...
Yeah.
So
you're not delivering a flower, you're delivering an experience.
And and if I can share with you, I never compromised in delivering that experience. And the delivering of experience was expensive. I was losing money while selling flowers. I said, look, I'll make money later. Let me make customers first.
Yes.
So in the beginning, delivering that experience was very difficult, because you are in a very, very tight situation with budgets and everything, and you know that something is costing you 400 rupees or selling for 300 rupees. But I kept on doing that, never compromised on that, and the trust. I think all these factors were very, very instrumental.
Absolutely. And I think the passion drove to that extent where, when you started having franchises, apparently you put the flowers in your van and delivered it yourself, right? So tell us something about that, being so committed to the cause and your business, whether it was intentional or it was like the need of the hour. What was it?
See, I believe that – I was a one-man army. I had no option. If I want to hire and recruit somebody who can help me do flowers or do some kind of a selling for me, it wasn't available. People don't hire managers in a flower shop.
Yeah.
So to me, I had no option but to do it myself. Whether it's supplying flowers, going to the mandi, doing my own arrangements, doing that customer satisfaction, creativity, meeting franchisee, seeing how they can become, profitable for them to prosper. So I think first few years were just from morning 5 till 11 the night. It was endless journey.
And I think all retail leaders must learn. And I think that was the reason why you set up a school for flower or
Yeah, because what was happening was that I always believed that for any industry to grow, certain amount of education or certain amount of learning is very important. And all the flower market was predominantly controlled by a community in Midnapur. Most of the florists came from there.
okay.
And demand and supply was getting disproportionate. Now, how do I get trained people? So I thought, let me open a school. Why Midnapur? Anybody can do flowers.
Yeah.
So I opened a school. I tied up with a florist school in Singapore, and we opened a florist school and we started training young girls and guys who could take up as a profession. And we were promising them in-house placement.
Wow.
You come and do this course for this amount, you'll have this kind of a salary package waiting for you. So it kind of made it interesting for them that look, if I spend time and learn this, I can do this, and that's better than doing a carpenter or welder or a painter's job.
Correct.
So that's how we started cultivating good resources, and all those resources were ultimately gradually deployed to all the franchisee and everywhere. So it was a culture which was started.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you are an industry in yourself. Huh? So this brings me to the franchisee part. When you are building a retail business, you need a distribution channel, and I think you chose franchisee route initially. But then we come back to the trust factor. We come back to the delivering best experience to the customer. So how could you ensure that what passion you have, your franchisees also have, and they maintain the sanctity of the brand?
I opened one shop in South Extension, and I got married 2 years after that, and I opened another shop in Greater Kailash. And I wanted to have a chain of flower shops, which wasn't heard of, not only in India, anywhere in the world.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah. So all over the world, Europe, US, wherever you go, now of course things are a little different, but 30 years back, it's all individual who used to run one single shop, make a living for themselves. No chain of flower shops or no multiple shops, nothing. I wanted to have a chain of flower shops. So I was trying to do something which has never happened in the history.
Right.
So I had to crack decode that reason why I'll be able to successfully sell flowers at multiple locations, being a perishable commodity, trust, all those things were against my desire. Because everybody don't have the same passion or same thought process or the desire to throw flowers. I used to count that how much more I can throw every day so that I'm able to sell fresh. Or whereas other people generally will see how much can I save so that my wastage is minimum. So what I did, initially I tried to rope in a couple of friends, relatives, and I said, you become my working partner, I'll invest in the shop, you run the shop, you're my working partner, and we will share profit in this proportion. I thought this is one way of expanding the
Correct.
flower chain,
Correct.
which didn't work. Then I thought, this is not working, what to do now? I said, let me hire managers. They will run the shop, I'll have a SOP, and based on that SOP, they'll be able to manage the shop. Even that did work. So it took me good 3, 4, 5 years initially to experiment in various, ways to multiply my chain. Then and that was the time that Franchising India magazine was launched. So the franchisee word was becoming, we get to hear about it, franchising. And they came to meet me in my initial days. And they kind of taught me what franchising is. And I said, look, and that was the time I started believing in that whatever I do and try and sell, I must know why. Why a franchisee will take a Ferns N Petals franchisee? He can go to the mandi, buy flowers, open his own shop in his own name and run it. What's that I am giving him that he'll be interested in taking my franchisee? So I worked on that a lot, and we gave them so many regions to become a franchisee. And I made one thing very clear, that whether I make money or not, my franchisee must make money. A business or a chain will only grow if every partners make money. And I treated each franchisee as my own family member and made sure that they are profitable, they are happy, so and that's the reason that the whole franchising model worked, and it spread like wildfire.
Wow.
Because again, there was a trust, they're all making money, and it was a happy family. And what I did, which was probably the master stroke or the milestone, in 2000, when I had good 30, 40 franchisee, I started fnp.com. I said, let me collect orders from all over the world. Let me be a florist, with a florist to the world. Anybody can access and order flowers from here, and I will collect those orders and give them to my franchisee to deliver. Yes. So I'm giving them business, so they become dependent on me, and they are getting more sales. And 2002-03 onwards, I started selling my franchisees, saying, you'll break even from the first month, because
I'm giving you orders.
You already have ready-made so many orders coming your way the day you open the shop.
Interesting, very interesting.
And that's how the omni-channel worked.
Yeah, in 2000.
2000.
Yeah, so which was like very early days, and the dot-com burst and what.
There was no Flipkart, there was no Amazon, there was nothing.
So, this gives me an insight, and which I have been receiving in most of these conversations, is that, failure is a feedback. So when you're setting up something, all the failures you talked about just now in setting up the franchisee distribution mechanism and the, distribution channel, is the feedback view. You take the feedback, try again, reiterate, and again attempt, and ultimately the magic will happen. So that's one. And second, which was coming to my mind, is that entrepreneurs and businessmen, leaders must see things which are not and say why not, right? Because when you thought that there is no chain company which has multiple chains of flower, I mean a florist which has multiple
outlets.
So that was something which was not. Then you said, why not?
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. So these are again, personality traits which you think that, you can learn from here. Now, coming to partnerships and growth, I think we are in an era where we can't, grow and scale up without partnerships. So I've read today only that, during 2003-04, you did those partnerships with the designers, JJ Wala and others. So what made you think that time? Today we are talking about a collaborative, but that time everything was competitive, right? So what made you, go the reverse way, in a way,
See, I'm basically a very restless person, by nature. Every day I need that like need some kind of a idea or some kind of a thought which make me think what's next, what to do now. So the desire to do something new all the time helped me also and made me take a lot of wrong decisions also. And the whole idea of partnering with JJ Valaya or getting international florist was to take the whole experience to the next level. Because you see, it's like you have a DLF mall and you have an Emporio. I thought that like for DLF mall, FNP is everywhere. But what about Emporio? I should have a florist shop which is of a different class, different type, with flowers being flown in from all over the world, which is for a selected cream de la cream. And I said ki to do that, I have to maybe have a designer name involved so that it gets that branding and that kind of understanding. That's how partnership evolved. We started doing weddings, so we partnered in weddings as designers. So I've always been a very curious and a very restless kind of person who kept trying new things. Some worked, some didn't. But the ones who didn't work are probably the reasons why FNP is here. Wow. I give 100% credit to all the failures of my life for my success today.
Brilliant. So, coming to the second phase of evolution, right? Because from these retail to doing large format weddings, So I was thinking about what you are saying, that innovation drove. So that is because of your innovation, your different, your fire to do something differently, I think worked. When your first wedding, I read that there were different, you broke the norm, right? And did something very, very innovative, differentiated, which was talked about. And then from there, the second phase of evolution started. So apart from innovation, anything else you want to share with our retail leaders that that worked there?
I think 3-4 things which I must say are important. First of all, sometimes innovation can be a landmark. At the same time, that innovation is not timed properly, so it's not accepted at all. So to be able to push yourself towards that innovation, you need to have, you need to balance your thoughts in a manner that it will be accepted, it is not ill-timed, and it will further progress.
Wow.
Sometimes we innovate, like I innovated something called flower will. I said, during a livelihood, you are my customer for say till 70 years. I wanted you to be my customer forever. So I started signing flower will, that Vedji, you sign this flower will with जिसको भी आप फूल भेजना चाहते हो, even after you are no more, with your handwritten messages, flowers will keep going to your daughter or your children.
Wow. How beautiful.
For the next 50 years, 30 years.
How beautiful.
I said, जिंदों को तो सब कस्टमर बनाते हैं, मैंने जिंदगी के बाद भी आपको कस्टमर बनाना है. So I brought in this concept. I hired Dina Gupta as my brand ambassador. I thought this is a mind-boggling idea, and if the whole universe become my customer after their death, I'm doing good to the flower industry, not only for myself. It didn't work. It didn't work. Whenever I speak to anybody about this, I say it's mind-boggling, huh?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But sometimes, maybe 3 years down the line, it may start sounding more practical. It happens. Similarly, I started Chatak Chaat. I thought chaat is street food. and it has a hygiene deficiency. And it's unorganized. The only organized player is Haldiram, which is not chaat, which is like a complete sweet shop. So I wanted to have a snaky chaat corners, air conditioned, proper hygiene, wise, trustworthy, and everything. I said, what I've done in flowers, I'll do to chaat now.
Yeah.
I'll take the chart from street to the shops and bring in that hygiene and the trust factor, and will multiply this by as a franchising model, which I knew very well because FNP was a success story.
Correct. Correct.
And I was so overconfident. I opened close to 60 shops in 3 months. I had a centralized kitchen and supply chain and everything. It boomed. It's 10 years. Now, same thing. You can see a lot of chart corners, a lot of these organized players doing this all over the country. It was ill-timed. So sometimes, which sounds good, sounds innovative, sounds workable, doesn't work.
So I think you sunk in about 35 crores. That's
Yeah.
going out in the market. But this brings to a very, very important point in business, that apart from 6 main factors, which includes your funding, your idea, your everything, your execution, your market strategy, go-to-market strategy, timing is very important. So, timing of your innovation, what you want to bring in the market is very, very important. So, you have to have, sometimes you get that sense, sometimes your research throws it, sometimes it happens.
And I think there is one line which I can say on this. An entrepreneur or a businessman has to have the guts to be illogically logical.
That's a brilliant word, illogically logical, yes.
If you always go by the book or the norms or the logic, it won't happen. You have to be illogical in some manner which makes you stand apart and becomes a differentiator.
Correct. Wonderful. So it had been a very, very interesting conversation. I will like to bring Amisha so that she can ask, hard brass tack questions.
Tough questions, huh?
Not tough, but these are, we are talking success and success attributes, and she will talk the nuts and bolts of the business, and then I'll come back and we'll finish.
So as Ved sir said that, I'll be asking the hard question. It will not be exactly like that. But our viewers would love to know about the companies, its plans and everything. So it would be great if you can tell our viewers about the company's growth in the past year, how the customer acquisition is going, and in terms of stores you have opened in the past year, and your presence in tier 2 and tier 3 market.
See, currently we run around 400 outlets in close to 125 cities. And we have become very stringent in terms of selection of a franchisee now, because of course there's always a learning, and the world is ever evolving. So, new times, new requirements, new thoughts. So, and we intend to be opening a shop a week kind of a situation right now. So we'll be adding 50 odd outlets a year, at least for the next 2 years, unless we start opening faster. But that is the speed. And in terms of growth, we've been very, very fortunate and lucky that last 7-8 years, we've been growing year on year, sometimes 30%, sometimes 40%. And sometimes COVID was a very odd period for retail outlets, but was a boon for online. So sometimes external factors also, give us headwind and tailwinds. But right now, we are experiencing good tailwind, and we're also expanding overseas, which makes us a multinational company. And the idea is that, God willing, we should be Ola, Uber of gifting, so that anywhere in the world you have that FNP app and your emotions are taken care of. Of course, to do that, a lot of hard work, a lot of planning, a lot of investment is required when the process of setting up that situation. And Saudi Arabia is our next big market, which we are going full on this year. And UAE, Singapore, we are already the number one gifting company in those countries, which has reaffirmed the fact that we are able to run overseas business successfully. And FNP has a habit or a DNA. Whenever we realize that we are doing something good, we start doing it quickly. It's like riding a wave. So international is that wave for us, which we are very cautiously riding. And we have Indonesia, Philippines as our next destinations after Saudi. In India, the idea is to be able to deliver at every pin code in the country. We are already serving more than 90% pin codes. And technically, we were a florist, from flowers to cakes to plants to chocolates to hampers to fruits to, now some singer singing a virtual song for you, to a guitarist going and playing music while delivering flowers midnight.
Celebrities are also there.
Celebrities are also there. So, and I think our approach in general has always been very customer centric. It's never been what we want to sell. We've always been very careful about what we want to buy. Now that customer focus, that research, and with a lot of now digitally we have moved ahead in, so AI and a lot of data and analysis, they help you understand, the trends, and if you are very, very aggressively in the mode of innovation, you're able to plan something, which is going to be the reality 2 years hence. So to pre-plan things which is going to happen tomorrow and accordingly create your, complete backdrop to serve. I mean, people have now, we just came to a conclusion last month that in coming couple of years, personalized gifting is the next big thing happening. How can I personalize every gift, every flower, everything I deliver? We are innovating and getting into a situation where I can have your face printed on a rose petal of a rose while being sent to you. So that's innovation for us. Similarly, a lot of things are happening where, so I always tell people, and I'll tell you also, numbers are important. But I think for FNP, it's not a business. We're on a mission. It's like to conquer the world with gifting and to be a very desirable and a very, very grounded human brand. And when you do all these things with sincerity and with so many years of experience behind.
Definitely. So now we are talking about innovation. You are earlier also talked about innovation, that how important it is. So what innovative products like we can expect from FNP in the future, in this year and upcoming years?
As I said, personalized. We will do a lot of personalized. We're also looking at doing a concierge. If you want to send gift to somebody, half of the time you don't know what to do. So you may have a concierge who will guide you, considering your relation, emotion, budget, what can be the best gift. That's further personalization. Then we are also getting very deep into experiential gifting.
It's a new thing.
Yeah. So people want to have a balloon ride. People want to have maybe dinner in the middle of a lake. So experiential gifting, personalized gifting, a lot of virtual innovation, concierge, and we're also looking at doing a lot of white labels, because All the edibles and gourmet category, we've already started, and we want to be known for our gourmet brands as we are known for flowers and cakes. Like cakes, we opened close to 160 outlets, and F&P Cake is a brand now. Similarly, in further white labels on gourmet chocolates and dry fruits and cookies and all that is in the process. So it's an endless journey.
Definitely. So now we know that FNP is present like on both the channels, online and offline as well. But according to you, which channel is getting more, traction from the consumers? Like should it be like retail outlets or more online? As you know, you are going internationally as well.
Definitely online. Online is the flavor of the day. Digitally, it's convenient, it's easy. And what happens is, today families are spread all across the world, different cities. So online becomes more convenient because you can order for anywhere and anywhere. When it comes to going to a store, it's for the local purchase or for yourself or for a local delivery. So the serving area and the serving dimension of online is much bigger and convenient. And that's the reason today we do close to 70% online compared to 30% offline.
Now we're talking about business. I know that you said that FNP is not about just business; it's about consumer, right? But we do have to talk about business, right? You have you have set some targets, revenue target for this year. So it would be great if you can share with us the target for this financial year.
This financial year, we are eyeing around 800 CR, which would be a top line, and growth will be in the range of 30%. And we have been profitable since many years. So the journey continues in that. So digitally first and being profitable, FNP is one of the rarest names. A lot of digital companies only burn. Having a healthy bottom line is another unique with FNP. And of course, we had our first round of funding last year. We are expanding, in different countries. So we'll probably be looking at more funding in the coming, maybe next year. Or we're also looking at maybe an IPO early 2025. So depending on whichever route our banker suggests, we will be raising more funds to grow bigger and in every direction of the world. Yeah.
So now that we are talking about the journey, now I think it's a good time to call back Ved sir and continue the conversation and get more insight from you, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Amishab. So brilliant to know the plans and the growth, and very happy for that. Taking our conversation on, attributes and attitudes for succeeding in business, and we were discussing about discipline, right? So beliefs, mindsets, and discipline, these are key factors which I believe are responsible for success. And I would like to share with our viewers the discipline you have had. Initially, tell us something about when you were the business demanded you to be there always, and then slowly and gradually today, where you shared with us that last few years the discipline is like sleeping early, getting up early. So share something about discipline as responsible for success.
I've always believed that every new stage in life requires a new you.
Mm-hmm.
What I was doing when I was 30, I cannot continue doing when I'm 40, and so on and so forth. And if you are unable to match the situation with your discipline or habits, it's a mismatch. Because you are required to be in a certain manner at a certain point of time to be able to do the things in the right manner.
I agree. I agree.
So now, sometimes when I was a one-man army, to me, getting up at 5, coming home at 11 o'clock, no time for meal, don't know what I've eaten. And before I sleep, I know it's 5, get up and run. Tirelessly, endlessly for 7 years. Maybe that was the requirement of the day then.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in the last 3 decades. This is my 4th edition right now. And I'm sure now my children are of a marriageable age. When they get married in the next couple of years, I'll probably be a new edition of myself. So I think it's an ever-growing process. But yes, I like to be do that. My personal habits, discipline, belief, thought process, and the situation must be balanced. That's the desire.
Right. Otherwise, it's a recipe for disaster. Okay. So, we are already overshot our time, but we discussed about giving back. So, I wanted to touch upon the wedding part because that was another area of discussion, but maybe we'll keep it for some other time. These days there's talk of 4 P's in business, which I always want to ask from the leaders in our conversations, that people, profit, planet, and purpose. So out of these 4 P's, what FNP and Vikaas Gutgutia believes is the primary focus and should be primary focus?
I think all of them have their own important role. I think all 4 are important. Purpose is important. Your planet is important. Of course, profit and all that is
People.
People and profit. Now, to me, I believe that it's very important to understand everything around me or for anybody. People say, I own this much, I have this, I have that. Why don't we understand we are temporary custodians? Now, when you're temporary custodians, once you're gone, they'll probably belong to somebody else and then to maybe somebody else. The moment you start understanding and believing in this, instead of owning, you start giving back. In any case, this has to go out and serve humanity. Why don't you do it with your own hand instead of sitting on that ego that I own this, I own that, I have this land, that land. I think it's a very foolish way of looking at life. We're all temporary custodians. Jo kamaya hai, give it back. I think spreading happiness gives you happiness. So the more happiness you can bring to people's life and in general, ultimately makes you happy.
Wonderful. So we were discussing this pre-conversation. So we would like to wind up with your thoughts on, your plans, not thoughts, on this giving back personally and from the brand and the company perspective.
First of all, if you ask me honestly, as far as the company is concerned, I want to have FNP live forever. It should have an immunity which is beyond individuals and founders and managing directors, so that the brand lives forever. As far as I am concerned, I do not know. I mean, as of now, I look at maybe 5-7 years from now, instead of actively burning the whole day in work, I have to be devoting more time where I can bring a smile on people's faces.
Oh, you're already doing that. So, so no. My wishes, all the best wishes to you, and we want to see more decades of Mr. Vikaas in the coming time. Thank you so much for your time. It was
Thank you, Vijay.
wonderful
Lovely talking.
conversing with you.